The sky was heavy with smoke and dust. It had been years since the planet had known peace. What was once a shining alien world was now just a broken colony. Metal scraps were buried in ash. Ruined buildings stretched like skeletons. There was only survival. The human army called it Victory Post 9, but no one really believed that. It didn't feel like victory. It felt like guilt. Sergeant Nathan Cole walked with slow, tired steps. His boots crunched on the dry ground. The others around him talked, laughed, even kicked at the rubble. They were used to it. Destruction was normal now. Nathan wasn't like them. His eyes were sharp, watching, always searching for something that still mattered. Something real. Then he saw her. She was small, too small, crawling near a pile of scrap metal. Her arms were skinny. Her skin, a pale, blue-gray. Dirt covered her from head to toe. She wore rags that didn't even keep her warm. Her eyes, faintly glowing, were lowered to the ground. She didn't look up. She was busy digging through garbage, searching for something to eat. She found a half-rotten chunk of protein matter and bit into it. She didn't hesitate. Hunger had killed shame a long time ago. Nathan stopped walking. The other soldiers didn't notice, or maybe they did, but didn't care. One of them threw an empty can near her head. She flinched, but she didn't run. She had nowhere to go. Nathan stared at her. She looked like a creature, wild, forgotten, but he didn't see a monster. He saw a child who should have been laughing, playing, wearing clean clothes, maybe even a crown. Something inside him shifted. His chest tightened. Memories rose like ghosts. A fire, a scream, a little voice calling for help. He didn't move. Not until the others were gone. Later that night, when the camp had quieted down, Nathan returned to that same spot. The girl was still there, curled into herself, trying to stay warm. He knelt down and placed a sealed food pack near her feet. She didn't move. He stepped back and sat nearby. Waiting minutes passed. Finally, slowly, she crawled toward the food. Her hands trembled. She didn't open it like a child. She opened it like a prisoner. She looked at him, unsure. He smiled. Just a little. Just enough. You can have it, he said softly. She took it, ate in silence. Nathan came back the next night, and the night after that. He brought her clean water, bandages, a blanket. She never spoke. Her eyes followed his every move, filled with fear and curiosity, like a wounded animal unsure if the hand reaching out was kind or cruel. He started calling her Aya. It was short, gentle. Her real name, whatever it was, had sounds he couldn't pronounce. She didn't correct him. She just listened. Every time he visited, she looked a little less scared, a little more alive. Nathan built a small shelter, from old crates and thermal sheets. He set it up behind the storage unit, hidden from the patrol routes. He brought her there, holding her hand when she hesitated. It became her safe place, but danger still lived in the open. One morning, a senior officer pulled Nathan aside. "You stay away from those scrap aliens," he said coldly. "They're not people, just leftovers from a broken race. You hear me?" Nathan nodded, but he didn't stop. He's COULDN. Single quotes. He kept Aya hidden, safe, fed. He didn't understand why she mattered so much. Maybe it was because she was the first innocent thing he had seen in years. Maybe it was because she reminded him of someone he had lost. Or maybe it was something more. Days passed. Then a week. One night, Nathan sat near the edge of the shelter. Aya was wrapped in the blanket he had given her. She stared at the small light he had fixed to the ceiling, a dim, flickering bulb. But to her, it was like a star. Nathan leaned back and closed his eyes. That's when he heard it. A voice, soft, shy, clear. "You're kind," she said. He opened his eyes. She was looking at him. "I remember your voice," she whispered. From the fire, Nathan sat upright. He felt the air grow still. He didn't know what she meant, but in her eyes, he saw something he hadn't seen before. Recognition, and behind that, something deeper, hope. The night was colder than usual. Wind whispered through the cracks of the broken walls, carrying with it the voices of the past. Nathan couldn't sleep. Not after what she said. "I remember your voice, ... from the fire." Those words haunted him, echoed in his chest like a forgotten melody. He sat by the small heater, staring at Aya as she slept. Her breathing was soft now, peaceful, a rare sight for someone who had lived like an animal in the dirt. Nathan wondered what fire she meant. He had been on a dozen planets, fought too many battles, burned too many things, but none of them included her, or so he thought. Morning came slow. Gray light filled the shelter. Aya opened her eyes and blinked at the dim bulb above. Nathan handed her a warm drink. "Did you sleep okay?" She nodded, then looked down. She still didn't speak much, but that one sentence from last night had changed everything. He wanted to ask her more, where she came from, who she really was, but he held back. She wasn't ready. Instead, he just smiled. "You like stories?" Her eyes lit up a little. She nodded again. So he told her one, about Earth, about oceans, about birds that flew for thousands of miles without ever touching the ground. She listened like each word was a miracle, as if his voice painted colors in her mind she had never seen. She was starting to trust him. That scared him more than anything. Later that day, he sneaked into a restricted archive, used a stolen code. He searched for alien records, civilian logs, survivors. Nothing matched Aya. No ID, no family, just scattered data from the first strike on her planet. But one file caught his eye. A transmission, broken, fragmented, screams, fire, explosions. A woman's voice shouting in a foreign tongue, then switching to English. "They're here. They've found us. Take her, hide her. She must live. Our light must live." Then silence. The time matched the day the capital fell. Nathan stared at the screen. The woman's voice shook something inside him, something deep. Then, he noticed a symbol on the screen, a royal crest, golden and sharp. He rushed back to the shelter. Aya was drawing in the dirt with a small stick, just lines and circles. She didn't even look up. Nathan sat beside her. "Can I see your hand?" She paused, then slowly reached out. Her fingers were small, thin, but elegant. Delicate patterns shimmered under the skin. Not tattoos, not scars. Something else. Like markings hidden by time. He gently traced one of them. "It matches," he whispered. Aya tilted her head. "You're not just anyone, are you?" She looked at him, unsure. He hesitated. "I think you're someone important. Someone ... royal." Her eyes widened, just a little. Then she stood up and turned away, her back to him. Her small shoulders trembled. "You don't have to be afraid," he said softly. "Not with me." That night, someone else found her. A shadow moved behind the ruins. A figure stepped into the light of the heater, tall, thin, wearing the remains of alien armor. His face was covered, but his hands were bare, glowing faintly like hers. Nathan reached for his weapon, but the man raised both hands slowly. "I won't harm her," the stranger said in broken English. Aya turned round. Her eyes met the stranger's. She froze. The man dropped to one knee. "Princess Aya," he said, "you survived." Nathan's heart nearly stopped. He looked at Aya. She didn't deny it. The man reached into his pocket and pulled out a broken pendant. The same symbol Nathan saw in the archive. "You are the last light of our people," the man whispered. Aya walked forward, silent. Then she looked at Nathan, not with fear, but with guilt. Because now, the truth was out, and the war wasn't over. Not for her, not for them, not yet. The stars above Victory Post 9 had never looked darker. Nathan sat in the corner of his barracks, staring at his trembling hands. They had taken Aya. Military patrols stormed the shelter hours ago. The moment the scanner identified royal energy, from her blood, alarms screamed through the base like a pack of wolves. Soldiers tore through crates and kicked in doors. She didn't fight, she just looked back once, not scared, not angry, but sad, like she expected it. Now she was gone, locked, somewhere behind steel walls, alone again, and Nathan. He was being watched. 2 guards stood by the door. The commanding officer had made it clear. You broke protocol. You harbored a hostile. If she had detonated, it would have been on you. Detonated. That's what they thought of her. As if kindness could explode. Nathan clenched his jaw. He remembered the way she smiled when he described snow. The way she hummed, just barely, when he played her music from Earth. She wasn't dangerous. She was a child. But they didn't see that. They only saw a threat. Suddenly, the door beeped. Someone entered. Captain Hale, cold, sharp, the kind of officer who thought war was cleaner without compassion. She's being moved off-world, he said, not wasting time. Science team wants her. DNA patterns, energy readings. You did us a favor, really? Found a valuable asset. She's not an asset, Nathan said, voice low. She's a person, Hale smirked. Not according to protocol. He dropped a file on the desk. You're lucky you've served well. We're erasing this from your record, but you will not speak of her again. Nathan didn't answer. Hale leaned closer. You care for her, I get it. But she's not human, never will be. She's a relic. One will study, then forget. When the door closed behind Hale, something inside Nathan broke. They didn't just lock her up. They erased her story, her soul. He stood, walked to his locker, and pulled out his old recon suit. He hadn't worn it in years. Not since the front lines. But he had one more mission now. Get her out. It wasn't going to be easy. The lab was underground, guarded, cameras everywhere. But Nathan knew the base better than most. He had mapped every blind spot, every power outage cycle, every lazy patrol. And he wasn't alone. The alien who bowed to Aya before his name was Soren. He had been watching too, waiting. Now he stepped from the shadows near the barracks. His voice was calm, steady. She is the last hope, he said. If she dies, our bloodline ends. Our peace dies with it. I won't let that happen, Nathan replied. They moved like shadows through the dark, slipped past guards, hacked doors, avoided drones. When they reached the lab, Nathan felt his heart race. Not from fear, but from something deeper, hope. Inside, behind thick glass, Aya sat on a metal table. Her arms were strapped, but her eyes were calm. Almost like she knew he would come. Nathan opened the door. Alarms started screaming. But she smiled. I knew you'd come. Soren broke her bonds. Nathan lifted her gently. We have to move, he said. But then the lights went red. Doors slammed shut. Voices shouted. Guns loaded. A squad blocked the exit. Nathan stepped forward, shielding. Aya, stand down, a voice barked. She's a threat to Earth Command. No, Nathan said. She's the reason Earth might survive what comes next. Aya stepped forward. Her voice was clear, steady. I don't want war. I want peace. I want to be more than what you think I am. The soldiers hesitated. For the first time, they didn't see a weapon. They saw a girl, one who didn't beg, didn't cry. She stood like royalty. And Nathan stood beside her, not as her guard, not as her captor, but as her protector, and maybe something more. In that moment, they weren't just human and alien, they were something greater, and the world had to choose, let them go, or start a new war they'd never win. Smoke still clung to the night air like a curse. They had escaped, barely. Aya, Nathan and Soren now moved through the shattered backstreets of Victory Post 9, hiding beneath the ruins of what once had been a city of light. The stars above were clearer here, cold, distant witnesses to everything humanity had broken. Nathan's chest still burned from the sprint. Blood stained his sleeve. He had taken a shot to the shoulder during the escape, but he didn't stop. Couldn't Aya had gripped his hand the whole time, tight, trusting she hadn't asked where they were going. She already knew. Nowhere was safe, but they weren't alone. In the ruins, behind broken towers and collapsed highways, the last remnants of her people stirred. Not many, a few dozen at most. But they watched her from the shadows, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. When Aya stepped into the open, they didn't flee. They fell to their knees. Some wept. Some whispered her name, Ayathel. She lives. Soren stepped forward and raised his voice. This is not a ghost. This is your queen. She is the blood of the stars. The light they could not kill. Aya froze. Queen. She looked at Nathan, unsure. He nodded slowly. Maybe it's time they stopped hiding. Her lips parted. No speech, no throne. Just a single step forward. I don't want to rule, she said. I want to heal. The crowd listened, their eyes wide, waiting. I lived in dirt. I ate trash. I was nothing to them. But one human saw something else. She reached out and took Nathan's hand. He called me Aya. He gave me food. But more than that, he gave me back my name. I'm not here to bring war. I'm here to end one. The wind picked up. Silent approval from the broken world around them, and for the first time, the survivors stood. Not as fugitives, not as prey, but as a people reborn. Later, in the ruins of an old temple, they gathered. Soren spoke of plans, of reaching other hidden pockets, of rebuilding what was lost, of peace if Earth would allow it. But not everyone agreed. Some still wanted vengeance. One of them, a tall warrior with a missing eye, approached Aya in private. You are our queen, he said. But if they come for us again, we fight. We take what they took. Aya said nothing. She just looked at Nathan. And Nathan looked at her with the same quiet, steady faith he always had. We fight, she said finally, only if there is no other way. That night, Nathan sat beside her, near a small fire. The others had fallen asleep. She leaned her head on his shoulder. Do you think your people will listen? Nathan stared into the flames. Some will, some won't, but they'll have to see. You first. See who you really are. She smiled softly. You're not like the others. He chuckled. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. It's good, she said. You see hearts, not skin. Their hands touched again. Not by accident, and in that moment, with the firelight dancing in her eyes, she looked more human than most humans Nathan had ever known. But peace never lasts. Long. Far across the galaxy, aboard a black command ship orbiting the edge of human space, a figure stood before a massive screen. The display showed a recording, a shaky image of Aya, her glowing eyes. Nathan standing beside her. The man in the dark uniform clenched his jaw. So the lost princess lives. Behind him, soldiers waited for orders. Send the assassin, the commander said coldly. Bring me her body. Do it quietly. We can't let Earth know we failed to contain her. As the ship vanished into the void, only one truth remained. The war wasn't over, and Aya would soon face a darkness more dangerous than anything she had escaped. Not a soldier, not a general, but a killer born of shadows. And this time, Nathan might not be able to protect her. The stars above shimmered in silence. They had no warning, no sound, no sign. Just death. It came in the form of a whisper in the wind, a flicker of shadow across the ruins, a presence that didn't belong. Nathan woke with a jolt. His hand went straight to his weapon. Too late. The fire had already died out. Soren lay on the ground, unconscious. Others stirred, groaning. The air was thick, cold. Wrong.aya was gone. Nathan's heart stopped. He ran, barefoot, bleeding. He didn't care. He called her name, again and again. Through the rubble, no answer. Then he saw the trail, faint, but real. Dust disturbed, stones overturned, small drops of glowing blood. Aya's. He followed it, deeper into the ruins, deeper into the dark. There, in the old sanctuary, the light from the moon filtered through the cracked ceiling, and in the center, she knelt, a blade pressed to her throat. Behind her stood a figure in black, masked, silent, still as stone. The assassin Nathan stepped into. The open. The figure didn't flinch. "You're brave," the assassin said in a voice that was barely a sound. But too late. Nathan raised his weapon. "Let her go. She's marked for deletion. The last of a royal line that threatens balance. She's a child. She's a symbol. I don't care what she is to you," Nathan said. "To me, she's someone worth dying for." The assassin paused, then moved. Fast. Fast. Nathan fired, missed. Then the blade came. It slashed through the air. He ducked, rolled, grabbed a pipe from the ground, and swung. The metal clanged against the mask. A crack appeared. Aya screamed. The assassin moved to silence her, but Nathan was faster this time. He lunged, took the blade to the chest. Not deep, but enough. He tackled the assassin to the ground. They fought in silence. No words, just violence, just desperation. Finally, Nathan tore the mask away. He froze. The assassin was human, not just human. Young, barely, older than Aya. His eyes were hollow, trained, empty. "They raised me for this," the boy whispered. "To kill anything that threatens Earth's power. Even children." Nathan's voice shook. "You're not a killer. You're a victim." The boy stared at Aya. She stared back. Then he stood, dropped the blade, and vanished into the shadows. Nathan collapsed. Blood soaked through his shirt. Aya rushed to him, tears falling, her hands pressed to the wound. "No, no, not again. You can't go." His breathing slowed. "You're okay," he whispered. "That's all I wanted." She shook her head. "No, you don't get to leave." Her hands glowed. The light was soft, at first, then brighter, warmer. Her whole body shimmered with power she didn't understand. Her tears glowed too, falling onto his skin, and slowly, the wound began to close. His heart beat stronger. His eyes opened wider. He gasped, pulling in air like it was his first breath. Aya collapsed into him, sobbing. "You came back," she whispered. Nathan held her close. "I never left." That night, word spread through the ruins like wildfire. The princess had awakened her bloodline's power, not in rage, not in war, but through love, through sacrifice, through healing. And somewhere, in the dark corners of Earth's command, those who feared her began to understand one terrible truth. She was no longer a lost child. She was a queen, and she had already begun to win hearts, even human ones. The sun broke over the ruins for the first time in weeks. Not just light, warmth, the kind that touched skin and made people look up, even if just for a moment. The kind that made even the most broken souls wonder if something better might still be possible. Aya stood on the balcony of the ancient watchtower, wearing robes once lost to time, not armor, not chains, something soft, something royal. The people below, human and alien, gathered in silence. She didn't speak yet. She waited for him. Nathan walked up slowly, his shoulders still wrapped in bandages. He'd survived worse. But this had left something behind. Not pain, something deeper. Love. Aya turned to him. Her eyes met his. "I'm not sure what to say," she whispered. Nathan smiled. "Start with the truth." She nodded. Then she stepped to the edge, lifted her chin, and let her voice carry. Once, I lived in silence, in dirt, in fear. I was nothing, forgotten, watched the stars through cracked glass, thinking I would die under rubble like the rest of my people. She paused. But one human saw me, not as a threat, not as a weapon, but as a girl, a lost soul. And slowly, he helped me remember who I was, not just by feeding me, but by listening, by believing. The crowd listened. No one moved. I am Ithel Anner, last of the royal blood, but I am not here to take revenge. I am here to offer a new beginning. A murmur rippled through the group. Some alien, some human, all uncertain. Your armies destroyed our cities, our ships, our history, but you didn't destroy hope. You didn't destroy me. She reached for Nathan's hand. And now, I offer peace. Nathan stepped forward. But peace needs more than words. He turned to the crowd. It needs action. It needs trust. So we start here, with this camp. No more walls between us. No more hiding. Just people. Just hearts. A small group of human soldiers stepped forward. Nervous. One of them removed his helmet and dropped it. I lost my brother in the first strike, he said, but I think he'd want me to be better than this. He extended his hand toward one of the alien survivors. The alien hesitated, then took it, and just like that, something changed. It wasn't a treaty. It wasn't a speech. It was a moment, a first brick in the bridge. Later that night, Aya and Nathan sat beside each other in the garden ruins. The stars stretched far above, no longer cold, just endless. You did it, Nathan whispered. Aya looked at him. We did it. He smiled. I'm no king, he said. She laughed, a soft sound that lit up the silence. You're something rarer. What's that? She looked at him for a long time. My knight. He leaned in, slowly, gently, and when their lips met, it wasn't fireworks. It was warmth. It was safety. It was home. But not everyone was ready to celebrate. High above the planet, far beyond the reach of hope, a fleet stirred. Dark ships, silent, watching. The human Alliance command had seen everything, and they were not impressed. They call it peace, one admiral spat. I call it surrender. Orders. A younger officer asked. Burn it all. The invasion code was entered. Engines roared to life. But the stars did not blink. They simply waited. Because war was coming again. But this time, Aya wasn't alone, and neither was humanity. The sky split open like a wound. Dark ships rained down through the atmosphere, blocking out the sun. The human alliance fleet had arrived not with diplomats, not with words, but with fire. Panic spread across the valley like a wave. Children screamed. Elders ran for cover. Those who had only just begun to believe in peace felt it slip through their fingers. But not Aya. She stood at the top of the tower, her robe caught in the wind, her eyes locked on the sky. She didn't flinch. She had known this would come. Peace was never given. It had to be defended. Nathan stood beside her, rifle in hand, armor strapped tight. You still have time to run, he said softly. She looked at him. I ran once, never again. Below them, humans and aliens worked side by side, building barricades, charging old weapons, preparing for the fight, old enemies. Now one people. A message came through the comms, cold, commanding. This is Admiral Reese of the Human Alliance. You are harboring a classified target. Surrender Ithel Anner, or face total annihilation. Nathan grabbed the mic. She's not your target. She's your chance to be better. There was silence. Then the bombing started. The first blast hit the outer ridge. Dust and flame rose high into the air. Screams followed. But Aya stepped forward. Her hands glowed. She raised them, and a shield of golden light spread over the valley. The second blast hit, the shield and stopped. Nathan stared, stunned. You've been holding back. I was waiting, Aya whispered, for a reason strong enough to use it. Ships descended. Troops dropped from the sky. The battle had begun. Alien fighters, once scattered and broken, now moved with purpose. Humans who had once fired on them, now fought by their side. Soren led the charge from the west ridge, blade in hand. The one-eyed warrior from before roared through the front lines, tossing enemy soldiers like leaves in the wind, and Nathan, he never left Aya's side. He covered her, protected her, trusted her, and she lit the sky. With every wave of her hand, enemy tech failed. Explosives shut down. Machines turned to ash. But it cost her. Each use of her power drained her. Her breath grew short. Her hands trembled. Nathan noticed. You have to stop. If I stop, she said, they die. And still, she stood, until the final dropships fell. The last wave. The full force of the Alliance. A bomb the size of a house hurtled toward the valley, too big, too fast. No time. Nathan grabbed her wrist. Let me. But she shook her head. No, this is my legacy. She stepped forward, raised both hands. Light poured from her body like the sunrise itself. She whispered something, a name, a promise. The bomb exploded midair, turned into stars, then silence. Nathan blinked. She was falling. He ran, caught her before she hit the ground. Her eyes fluttered open. I told you I'd protect them. You did, he said, choking on his words. Her glow faded. Her hands were cold. Stay with me, he begged. But she smiled. You saw me when no one else did. That was enough. Then her body turned to light and vanished in his arms. The war ended that day, not by treaty, but by her memory. The Alliance retreated in shame. Soldiers laid down their arms. Word spread across the stars of a girl who stood between two species and chose love over vengeance. 10 years later, a school was built where the final battle took place. Children of Earth and the stars sat side by side, learning history not of war, but of peace. Nathan visited often, older now, quieter. He told stories to the children. About a girl who once ate scraps in the dirt, a girl who became a queen, a girl who taught the galaxy that humanity was more than steel and war, that it could be kind. He looked to the stars each night. And whispered, she wasn't just an alien, she was the best of us. And somewhere, far beyond the stars, the light of IFL Anar still shined, eternal, unbroken, loved,